Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. Today, mayors from 35 cities have pledged to deliver clean air for more than 140 million people that live in their cities. By signing the C40 Clean Air Cities Declaration, the mayors recognise that breathing clean air is a human right and commit to work together to form an unparalleled global coalition for clean air. Their pledge, developed by London working with the C40, commits cities to set ambitious pollution reduction targets and implement substantive clean air policies by 2025. They commit to use their power and influence to reduce air pollution and work towards meeting the World Health Organization air quality guidelines. The cities signing the C40 Clean Air Cities Declaration are Amman, Austin, Bengaluru, Barcelona, Berlin, Buenos Aires, Copenhagen, New Delhi, Dubai, Durban, Guadalajara, Heidelberg, Houston, Jakarta, Los Angeles, Lima, Lisbon, London, Madrid, Medellin, Mexico City, Milan, Oslo, Paris, LA, Copenhagen, just jumped over that. So Paris, Portland, Quezon City, Quito, Rotterdam, Seoul, Stockholm, Sydney, Tel Aviv-Yafo, Tokyo, Warsaw, and Washington, D.C. So an impressive list. We have a fantastic panel today representing the cities of Paris, Los Angeles, Copenhagen, Portland, Barcelona, and dialing in by video link, the Chief Minister from Delhi. In London, we know how important improving air quality is. In the city alone, over 2 million people live in areas that exceed legal limits for air pollution, including over 400,000 children. It's a social justice issue, and that's why the Mayor, Sadiq Khan, who sends his apologies because he couldn't be here today, introduced the world's first London ultra-low emission zone, which is having good results. So before I conclude today, just a couple of housekeeping matters. The Lord Mayor of Copenhagen needs to leave today after his remarks for another urgent meeting. And I've said before, we will also be welcoming the Chief Minister of Delhi by video link. So thank you again, everybody involved. We're very pleased to have you all on board on the declaration from London. And now I'm very pleased to hand over to the C40 Chair, Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo.
Thank you so much. Dear friends, dear colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen, 95% of C40's residents breathe toxic air. It represents a public health issue and a source of global warming. That is why we must concentrate all our efforts to fight it. By signing the C40 Clean Air Cities Declaration, we may recognize that breathing clean air is a human right and commit to work to form a unique and global coalition for clean air. In Paris, we have decided to measure precisely the level of the air pollution and publish the results. If we face reality, we will have the means to act. To obtain accurate data, Paris is developing experiments to measure pollution as finely as possible and try to identify its sources. And the partnership with Bloomberg Philanthropies opened promising possibilities by installing microsensors in schools. In 150 schools, we have now microsensors. The PolluTrack project, another project, a world premiere, developed in the city 400 electric vehicles with sensors that measure microparticles in the city all days, every hours, and we know air pollution should not be seen as fate. To reduce air pollution, we are limiting the city's access to the most polluting vehicles. In 2024, diesel vehicles will be banned from Paris, and by 2030, all fuel cars. Whenever possible, we are giving more space to pedestrians and bikes, like in Copenhagen and in other cities. Our efforts are paying off. Year after year, Paris air quality is improving. Just for 2018, the road traffic decreased by 5% and the pollution by 5%. We need to continue our efforts in this direction. Air pollution is the silent killer and comes from many sources. And it is extremely important to act and call upon all stakeholders, states, companies to do so. Citizens ask us to act, and we, mayors, are already doing so. Thank you. Tack.
Thank you very much. The next to speak will be the Mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much, and good morning. And thank you to our still chair. I keep reminding her I don't take over till December, so all the work that she still has to do the next month. I was so excited to accept the baton, though, from an extraordinary friend and sister mayor, Anne Hidalgo, and thank you for your courage in Paris. We need more political leaders like Anne Hidalgo in this world, who in the face of criticism will continue to protect the lives of her people, and we are indebted to her for her leadership. It's wonderful to be here with my fellow mayors and chief ministers, Chief Minister Kejawal, Mayor Colau of Barcelona, Mayor Wheeler just up the coast from my city in Portland, and of course to be here with our host mayor, Lord Mayor Jensen, who is probably working on 2 or 3 hours of sleep now. I know what it's like to actually host. It is the toughest work to do, but you have been extraordinary. When I gave the vision yesterday for what I hope to help write the next chapter of C40's history, yesterday I started with my own childhood. And I started with an air quality story of what it felt like to be told by teachers we couldn't even go outside during the day because the air quality was so bad in Los Angeles. I described what it felt like to have my eyes tear up and my lungs burn. What I didn't describe is that my house was at the intersection of 2 freeways. And because of the emissions that were there, we had a cancer cluster on our street. My mother, my father, my sister have all had cancer, luckily survived it, but between of them 8 times. And on that street, we had some who weren't so lucky because of the impacts of what it meant to grow up around unhealthy air. Today, that's the reality for too many people, whether it's the air in countries that are rapidly developing or in developed countries. While we're proud of reducing our smog by 90% in Los Angeles, we still have the worst air quality in America. And we see there are too many sources of this pollution. Our addiction to carbon in our vehicles, our ports, and as leader of C40, I hope to bring together a real discussion around ports and what our shipping lines and what our port operations do to our air, especially in communities that are by our industrial areas. Recently was in Haifa in Israel, and we saw firsthand what some of that impact was, and it was very similar to the neighborhoods in Los Angeles. But we also are here today to say we can do this. First, by empowering with information. Second, by taking action. And third, by sharing those best practices and demanding even quicker action. While others will give opinions, we will take action. And in Los Angeles, around the Port of LA, we were able, just in this last decade, ahead of schedule, to clean up SOx, sulfur oxide, NOx, and particulate emissions by over 90, 80, and 60% respectively. That's an amazing statistic in just a few years. So this work is absolutely possible. When Shenzhen and Guangzhou moved to have 100% electric buses within just 2 or 3 years, it shows that not only can we reduce pollution on the streets, we can hear each other and reduce our noise pollution as we clean up the air. And we will fix this together. And both our carbon addiction as well as our unhealthy air requires swift, unabated action and collective steps for the health of our constituents. We pledge to implement, with this declaration, substantive clean air quality by 2025 that addresses the unique points of pollution in each one of our cities. And we're holding ourselves accountable to our citizens to the highest level of transparency and accountability with regular and public reports on this process. We're proud in LA to move to 100% zero emissions vehicles. We're proud to change not only the air in our areas, but sometimes we get electricity from places far away. So while our citizens can breathe okay in those communities, in our case it was on an Indian reservation in another state, they were the ones who were taking on the unclean air from a coal plant, which is why we shut that down. In LA, we know that we are going to save 1,650 premature deaths, 660 hospitalizations from lung and heart disease, and save $16 billion in health costs. So anybody who says this is too expensive to do, it is too expensive not to do. And that's why we are all part of this action today. So let us clean up our air, let us protect our people, and at the same time, be able to have the secondary benefit of making sure that we reverse the climate change that is happening all around us. One last note, I know this is being connected. In Los Angeles, just about 2 hours ago, a brush fire has broken out in the city, in the hills. We have some mandatory evacuations that are going on. It is about a 30-acre fire, and winds are rapidly spreading that. And my heart goes out to everybody there. We're following that very, very closely. This is yet the third time since I've been mayor, just in this one area alone, because of the record drought conditions that we have. Climate change is real, and to the firefighters who are on the line and the families who are being evacuated, my heart and our actions are with you this evening, and will continue to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to welcome the Lord Mayor of Copenhagen, Frank Jensen.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. 30 years ago, Copenhagen used to be a run-down and industrial city. But today we have succeeded in creating a green and clean and livable city. Our harbor used to be filled with heavy industry, and the water in our harbor was so polluted. But today, our water in our harbor is so clean that you can swim in it. But what about the air? My vision is that the air the air we breathe should be just as clean as the water we drink and swim in. But today, this is not the case. Every year, 1,700 people die too early from air pollution in Greater Copenhagen. So I'm concerned about the health of my citizens, but also for the urban citizens of the world. Air pollution is a global problem where a very local solution is needed. That will only have the right effect if we collectively address this important issue. That is why this declaration is so important, the most important declaration for this summit. Because if we do this in the right way, everyone wins, with sustainable solutions that benefit both the climate, the environment, and the public health. This year we are implementing a string of new initiatives to clean the air in this city, Copenhagen. We are replacing 400 city buses from diesel to electricity. Next year, even the harbor bus will be run on electricity. We are implementing new regulations on heavy-duty traffic on the building machines and the construction sites, and increasing tariffs on the most dirtiest cars in the city. We have committed to establish shore power for the cruise ships, and this week we have announced the first one is on the way. But we are not there yet. I'm looking to other C40 cities and seeing ultra-low and zero-emission zones for all traffic in other cities. This is the road we need to take, and this declaration is a new step on this way. We are concerned of this problem. We are constantly also looking and learning from each other. That's what C40 is all about. By signing this declaration, we have chosen to work together and share our experience towards the future with a cleaner air for all the citizens in the C40 cities. Thank you very much. I'm sad I have to leave this press meetings because I'm going to welcome the UN Secretary General and the Danish Prime Minister for joining us for this summit. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor Jensen. And I understand Mayor Garcetti and Mayor Hidalgo also need to leave for the same appointment. So thank you very much for them, and apologies they can remain. So next we are very excited to be able to dial in from Delhi, Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. Excellent, the technology has worked, and his colleague Roshan is going to translate from Hindi.
आप सब लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार और मैं खुद पर्सनली वहां आना चाहता था लेकिन किसी कारणवश मैं आ नहीं पा रहा हूं.
It is my pleasure to greet you all from New Delhi. I wanted to be here, but unfortunately, due to unavoidable circumstances, I couldn't be here. I offer my apologies for the same.
मेरा मिस्टर मार्क वॉट्स जो एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर हैं उनको मेरा अभिनंदन, और पेरिस, लॉस एंजलिस, कोपेनहेगन, बार्सिलोना, पोर्टलैंड और भी जितने मेयर्स हैं उन सब लोगों को मेरा अभिनंदन.
My greetings to Mark Watts, the executive director of C40, the mayors of Copenhagen, Paris, LA, Lima, I forget, and the other two as well.
सबसे पहले मुझे बेहद खुशी है कि आज नई दिल्ली की तरफ से C40 क्लीन एयर सिटीज डिक्लेरेशन में हम लोग भी शामिल हो रहे हैं. अभी मैं सुन रहा था कि 35 से ज़्यादा शहर इस C40 क्लीन एयर सिटी डिक्लेरेशन का हिस्सा हैं, और मुझे खुशी है कि दिल्ली भी उसका हिस्सा बनने जा रही है.
I'm very glad to announce that Delhi is now formally joining the Air Quality Declaration of C40 cities. It's heartening to note that over 35 cities have signed on this declaration, and we are glad to work on this problem together.
सबसे पहले एक अच्छी खबर आप लोगों को देना चाहता हूं कि पिछले कई वर्षों से दिल्ली पोल्यूशन से बहुत बुरी तरह से लड़ रही थी, लेकिन हमने कई एफर्ट्स किए जिसकी वजह से अब दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन 25% कम हो गया है.
Over the last 3 years, we've made systematic efforts in the field of mobility, in infrastructure, in air pollution, and I'm very happy to announce that pollution has reduced in Delhi by 25% over the last 3 years.
इसमें हमने कई सारे स्टेप्स उठाए, जैसे कि हमने दिल्ली के अंदर इमरजेंसी मेजर के तौर पे कभी-कभी ऑड इवन, दैट इज राशनिंग ऑफ व्हीकल्स, हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया.
We've had many interesting measures being implemented in the city. One of them was odd even, where we implemented a 50% road rationing of vehicles in the city.
हमने डीजल व्हीकल्स के ऊपर बहुत सारे restrictions लगाए.
We made a lot of restrictions on the procurement as well as the operations of diesel vehicles within the city.
हमने दिल्ली में जितने थर्मल बेस्ड पावर स्टेशंस थे उन सबको बंद किया.
We shut down all the thermal and coal-based power stations within Delhi.
हमने जितनी भी दिल्ली में इंडस्ट्री थी वो सारी इंडस्ट्री को हमने फ्यूल चेंज करवाया और उसको हमने एनवायरमेंटल फ्रेंडली फ्यूल में शिफ्ट किया, जिसके लिए हमने काफ़ी सब्सिडी दी सारी इंडस्ट्रीज को.
There are many industrial areas within Delhi as well. We ensured that all of them switched over to either cleaner fuels or renewable energy, which has brought down pollution as well. This has been achieved through subsidies as well as several incentive schemes by the government.
पहले दिल्ली के अंदर बहुत सारे पावर कट लगा करते थे, जिसकी वजह से बहुत सारे डीजल जनरेटर सेट्स थे. पिछले 2 साल से दिल्ली में 24 घंटे पावर सप्लाई है, अनइंटरप्टेड पावर सप्लाई. सो ऑलमोस्ट 0.5 मिलियन डीजल जनरेटर सेट्स जो हैं वो रिडंडेंट हो गए हैं.
When we took charge of the government, there were a lot of power cuts within the city. This used to preclude the use of diesel generators across the city. One estimate says that there were over 500,000 diesel generators across the city. By systematically working towards clean, renewable, and cheap energy for the city, we've been able to make them redundant today.
बहुत बड़े स्केल के ऊपर ट्री प्लांटेशन किया गया है और बहुत बड़ा नेटवर्क एयर क्वालिटी इंडिकेटर्स को नापने के लिए बहुत जगह हमने मॉनिटर्स सेटअप किए हैं.
On a large scale, we've created and taken up afforestation drives within the city, which has increased the tree cover within the city as well in the 5 years. And we also have India's largest network of air quality monitors within the city, which helps us in decision making.
ये सब केवल एक ही वजह से संभव हो पाया और वो था क्योंकि पिछले 5 साल में हम लोगों को दिल्ली के लोगों का बहुत जबरदस्त समर्थन मिला है। हमने जो भी एफर्ट्स किए वो एक एक एफर्ट हमने लोगों को समझाया, उसमें कई एफर्ट्स बहुत हार्श थे लेकिन जनता ने इसमें पूरा सहयोग किया।
The only single reason why all these possible changes in policy were possible were because of the support of the citizens of Delhi. It was because all the citizens of Delhi participated and even allowed themselves to be subjected to some harsh emergency measures. Has this behavioral as well as policy change been possible?
आज मैं कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ ये C40 क्लीन एयर सिटीज डिक्लेरेशन इसलिए साइन कर पा रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरे को दिल्ली के 2 करोड़ लोगों का समर्थन है और ये 2 करोड़ लोग ही मेरी सबसे बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ हैं।
I am able to sign this C40 air quality declaration today because 20 million people of Delhi are behind me and the actions that lead towards climate transformation. It is their power that allows me to sign this document.
मैं पूरी तरह से मैं समझता हूं कि कोई भी बड़ा क्लाइमेट चेंज का मेजर तब तक सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो सकता जब तक जनता उसमें होल हार्टेडली पार्टिसिपेट ना करे और जनता उसका समर्थन ना करे।
It is my opinion that no climate transformation plan will ever be successful till the people are not leading it and the people are not supporting it. Climate change is only possible with people at scale.
आने वाले समय में हम लोग एक स्पेशल टास्क फोर्स बनाने जा रहे हैं दिल्ली में जिसको मैं खुद चेयर करूंगा, जिसमें हमारे उन डिपार्टमेंट्स के मंत्री होंगे, ऑफिसर्स होंगे, एक्सपर्ट्स होंगे और हम ये C40 डिक्लेरेशन जो है इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए पर्सनली मॉनिटर करेंगे।
There will be a special task force set up in the Delhi government, which will be chaired by the Chief Minister, myself, and we will be monitoring each and every policy, program, project and practice that will lead to curbing air pollution within the city.
आने वाले दिनों में हम दिल्ली के ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम को कंप्लीटली एनवायरमेंटल फ्रेंडली बनाने जा रहे हैं और स्पेशली जो बसेस हैं, बसेस की इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स हम लोग 1000 इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस खरीद रहे हैं और बाकी ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम को भी धीरे धीरे करके इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स की तरफ शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं।
This task force will consist of many different officials from line departments that work towards mobility, environment, and other issues that lead towards air pollution. One example in transport, we are going to include 1,000 electric buses in our bus fleet in the coming year, are going to double our bus fleet ourselves, and several measures to ensure that mobility is greener within the city.
जो सबसे बड़ा पोल्यूशन का रीजन दिल्ली के अंदर है वो डस्ट है। जितनी ओपन स्पेसेस हैं उनको हम लैंडस्केपिंग और ग्रीनिंग करके सारी डस्ट को कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करेंगे और हम लोग मैकेनाइज्ड स्वीपिंग इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं जिसकी वजह से डस्ट को कंट्रोल किया जा सके।
In open spaces we will be curbing on air pollution, on construction and debris waste, as well as trying to include as many pollution check measures across the city.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Chief Minister, but we really do need to wrap up your remarks, please.
आज मैं पूरी दुनिया के लोगों को ये भरोसा दिलाना चाहता हूं कि दिल्ली के लोग पोल्यूशन को डील करने के लिए, पोल्यूशन को हराने के लिए तैयार हैं और हम पूरी तरह से इसका C40 डिक्लेरेशन को फॉलो करेंगे और दिल्ली की हवा आने वाले दिनों में और बेहतर होगी और साफ होगी। थैंक यू एंड जय हिंद।
I am confident that with the signing of the C40 declaration, the setting up of this task force, we'll be able to implement a lot of pollution measures within the city and be able to make Delhi breathe deeply and cleanly in the coming few years. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We'd now like to invite the Mayor of Barcelona, Ada Colau.
Thank you. Dear mayors, dear friends, we have to... Muchas gracias por esta oportunidad. Para Barcelona es un honor participar en este encuentro tan importante, un encuentro...
And for Barcelona to be part of this project. In Barcelona, we represent a large portion of the participating cities. The soul of the city is the citizens. The citizens are threatened by death. We have hundreds of examples of deaths that have happened because of air contamination and pollution. People suffer from asthma, from cardiovascular diseases, and so on. And so people are threatened indeed by air pollution levels that are too high, and we are here to protect our people. We have to raise our voices. Do you remember in Paris when we met? Many of us are here today again. Hidalgo is here as our host. We are leaders, and we need to raise our voices. But we are also part of the project and part of our citizens' daily lives. We have signed declarations, but not only that, we also act. We are leading in the transport sector. We want to create better public spaces, possibilities to go on bicycles, and not in private vehicles, as has been tradition and as has been the way people have moved generally. We are not willing to wait until next January. We want to address the urgency of the problem. We want a paradigm change. This is indeed a climate urgency. Therefore, in January next year, we will initiate all the initiatives that we have put in place to reduce air pollution, traffic by private vehicles, and so on. And we will also have put in place other very ambitious actions. And I want to be very frank with you. We have had so many meetings, meetings with the UN, the summit that addressed the climate change, also in Paris, and we need more action. It's important to say that in the cities we are leading, but we also have to do our bit. Today, we have the resources and we have the legislative capacity to put it into play. Therefore, it's good to say that we're leading by cities, but we also need to take the responsibility upon us. We are the ones who decide the rules and who legislate. Therefore, I hope that the declaration will produce real results. We've talked about the new Green Deal. And once again, we don't want this to be a slogan, a catchphrase. We want this to be a real change. And I want to say that there is a crisis, indeed. There is also an economic crisis that is affected by the climate crisis, and we need to change it into a productive process. So I want to invite you all to continue working with us and to unite our forces. We want to work together with the youth because they've put a mirror up in front of us. They have told us that there is a deadline, that we do need to act. We need to move forward as fast as we can. And we need to put in place all the green energy and sustainable renewable energies that we can, because we need to invest in transport and in infrastructure. We need to change. We shouldn't be hypocrites. We really do need a new Green Deal. And we need to stop using diesel and fossil fuels. We need to stop using single-use plastics. We are close to the sea. Our city is a coastal city, and we are seeing the effects of single-use plastics, for example. We need to have a look and consider the global industry. We need to incorporate all the cities. we need to have a new look and consider how we package our foodstuffs, for example. We also need to limit how many times we fly. We're a globalized society and we move around, but still we need to have a look at the way we move around, how we mobilize ourselves. We need to be productive. We need to look at trains and alternative ways of moving about, because those factors are real contributing factors to the high pollution levels. We have industry all over the world that produce absurd things. We have production of fruit and vegetables on the other side of the world, and then we transport them to our part of the world to eat them. It doesn't make any sense. It also creates an incredible social injustice. In Barcelona in 2021, we will be the capital that brings change. And we want to be closer to our citizens, to the people who live in our cities, and also the capital that unites industries with civil society. It's important that we are honest, that we tell the truth, and that if we really want the new Green Deal, that we really speak openly and honestly about what we can do, what we should do, and that we take into account the consequences of reducing diesel and all the other contaminating factors. We need to sincerely look at them. We have so many competencies within energy. We are the first place in Spain that has disconnected itself from the historical sources of energy and increasingly uses green energy. We have a will to succeed. It is possible, and it's also time to show who is in charge, who makes the decision. They're burning the Amazon. We spoke about it in the United Nations, but who makes the decisions? Who is in charge? Who can do something about it? We shouldn't be egoist. We shouldn't think short-term goals. I want a democratic world. I want to deliver a world to our children and our grandchildren, a world that is responsible. Thank you.
I'm now going to invite the Mayor of Portland, Ted Wheeler, to speak. I know he has to go to another meeting, so thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this very important C40 Clean Air Cities declaration. This is a declaration that's important both in terms of addressing the climate crisis as well as addressing the air pollution crisis. And what I think is particularly exciting about this is that we're also talking about climate justice as we talk about these important crises. In Portland, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we want for the future, what we want for the next generation, and that's why we strive to put into place policies and programs that improve the strength and the resilience and the public health of our communities. And we have a particular focus on historically underserved populations. This C40 Clean Air Cities declaration not only encourages us to collaborate, but it also is about addressing the core problems and taking action. And we've heard so many times during this conference that cities are in the lead. And this is one more example where cities are in the lead. We have to actually take the concrete actions. For example, in the city of Portland, we are very proud of the clean air construction standard, which we've just put into effect, the goal of which, of course, is to reduce harmful diesel emissions. And we also know that the air in Portland is everybody's air in the region. So it's important that we collaborate with our regional partners, other municipal governments, and most importantly, our local county government, Multnomah County. And this is the strategy that all mayors are employing, working and collaborating with others. As we continue our transportation planning and our urban planning, we're not just thinking about how to create resilient and healthy cities, but we're also realizing that neighborhoods are different. We have to think about different neighborhoods because they have different circumstances. And this is where the inequality comes from. And we have to understand that different neighborhoods are going to have different public health consequences. And the way we're seeking to address that in the city of Portland is by deploying low-cost pollution sensors and then taking the data that we get from those sensors and we run it through our Clean Cities, our Smart Cities PDX team, the Smart Cities PDX team, and they take that important data and then they determine where are the locations and where are the sources of that air pollution, and more importantly, where are the highest areas of potential public health risk. So in that sense, we're trying to address these inequalities. The commitment for the City of Portland is that we're going to take concrete actions. Going forward, we're already in the process of electrifying our vehicles. We're retrofitting and upgrading our diesel vehicles to reduce harmful diesel emissions. And of course, we're working very hard to make our transit system more accessible and faster. And we're moving towards a future where we see an increased use of shared electric vehicles, particularly in areas where walking or biking or transit just isn't possible. So in closing, I just want to say the City of Portland, we're in. We appreciate this important declaration. We're 100% committed to it. We look forward to collaborating with other cities. We look forward to putting into effect very specific strategies and reporting on our successes and sharing with our other communities the good work that they're doing. The goal here is to address the climate crisis, reduce air pollution, and do so in a way that puts at the front communities that have historically not had the opportunity to participate and have been disproportionately impacted by the global climate crisis. So thank you for including the City of Portland. We're all in. Thank you. Thank you very much.